What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Kiwan, and I am back with the Real Housewives of Rhode Island, Season 1, Episode 14, Reunion Part 2. This was an amazing season. It was authentic. Okay, the heifers worked on my nerves, but this was authentic. But it was good. It was good, authentic TV. If you are new to my channel, shout out to all the new subscribers. Let me just say that I appreciate y'all. Welcome. I hope y'all like my channel. It's this is the hood around here. Okay, this is the hood. Okay. Some of these reviews I am really nice. Some of these reviews I'd say probably 10 curse words, 2 regular words, and the rest curse words. Okay? But this one, I'm going to be nice. But I'm not going to be nice, but I'm not going to curse much, I think. I don't know. Anyway, I was reviewing this season of Housewives of Atlanta. I dropped it. I was reviewing all of the Housewives shows. I no longer review any Housewives shows. I only review Next Gen NYC and the Real Housewives of Rhode Island until somehow they decide they want to piss me off and I'm going to drop it. Other than that, I do the ratchetness of WeTV on scripted TV, TV shows, Tyler Perry. I have a plethora of things, okay, besides Housewives, okay? Oh, and I do Married to Medicine. I'm going to stay with Married to Medicine. I'm going to have to make me sick, but I'm going to stay with Married to Medicine. I have not watched Housewives of Atlanta since I reviewed, I think, episode 3, 4, 5 or something. After that, I haven't watched it. I've only seen clips and I watch other people's reviews. That is it. So yeah, that is that. Yep. So there will be no changing of the minds. And the Real Housewives of Potomac, when it returns, I definitely will not be reviewing that. Those heifers get on my nerves. They are bringing back the same people, and those are the same people that irritate me. So it's going to be a no for me, dog. Okay? Anyway, Rhode Island Reunion Part 2. We pick up with Rula hooting and hollering, calling Joellen a slut. I was like, Joella was like, well, I'm not the slut, baby. It's your nigga. That's the slut. Okay? Don't talk to me. Talk to that foot rubbing nigga. I'm just playing. Not me. Your man is a slut. Okay? She ain't lie. Now, they both worked on my nerves, but she didn't lie. Okay? So Andy looking at Rula like, because she had got up. I think this was the point where she got up. And he looked at her like he wanted to laugh. Because he looking at her like, girl, I don't think you going to really bust a grape. You really just running your mouth. It was just that small moment, that little small window. I don't know if y'all saw it. But I try to pay attention to details sometimes. So Ashley was sitting in her chair looking like she needed the other half of her Prozac. Because y'all know, if you watched my seasons, I call Ashley Baby Prozac. Okay? Because she looked like she finna lose it. Between her, them babies, and that husband. Yeah. Rosie. So them, Rosie and Kelsey get into it. So Rosie, ma'am, what you cannot do is walk off in mid-segment of your package to go pick up a binder that was looked like a suitcase, a little suitcase that you should have brought out already. You're supposed to bring your props with you. You cannot. This ain't that. Okay, but you knew. You ain't no better. I don't know if you ever watched the Housewives show, but you can't do that. Okay? Kelsey, I just need to know, what is your heart on for Rosie? And I just kind of feel like you and your broken coochie have no room to talk about nothing and nobody. Okay? We get down to Alicia's package. AB, friend, if you are watching this, listen, I didn't watch the episode when I was watching everybody review. But now that I have watched the episode, friend, Alicia just went out sad in my book. And this is why she pisses me off. Okay? This is where I get off of the Alicia bus. She cool when she need to be cool. I like her. But the stupidity leak, okay? Shout out to Scream. Rose McGowan. She tapped homeboy and said, stupidity leak. All right? Listen. The stupidity leak for me, I can't, friend. I can't. So she's working on her own oyster line. I mean, her own cracker line for oysters. Y'all know they have those oyster crackers. And Andy was really, the way Andy asked the question, she really didn't know the name of the company of the oyster line the name of the cracker line she was working with. Girl, it baffles me, like when it comes to money. You would think because her father and y'all just follow me real quick. You would think because Alicia's father left them destitute that she will be on it. No, she's total opposite. So he was like, he asked her something about, working out. I don't know, but she said she liked James Fonda. And I'm looking at her like, who the fuck is James Fonda? She was pissing me off. Like, y'all, I get annoyed by little things. She was pissing me off, ma'am. You know that it's Jane Fonda. And then she was like, I like Elements. Girl, what the fuck is Elements? She was like, Andy was like, almonds? And she was like, yeah, almonds. Girl. So you gonna sit here and play in our face and act like you that dumb. The stupidity leak continues. Okay? Andy, okay, so we found, she said that she talks about her housewife checks. And she said her housewife checks are going to a woman who Billy connected her to, but she doesn't know anything about that woman. She only waits to get her statement. I'm trying, AB. Friend, I'm trying. Anyway, Andy. Bravo Andy, when he has always have to have a conversation with one or two of these special hoes on the stage, okay? From every franchise. He always have to have a conversation that some of these hoes don't seem to catch up on. They don't seem to catch up. Okay? So Andy tells Alicia, you will potentially make, start to make more money than you've ever made. You need to get a handle on what you're making and where it's going, and you need to have full access to it. She says, well, I never pay attention to it because I never care. This is why she irritates me. Because why? Why aren't you paying attention to your money? The act, the ploy, if this is an act, then shame on you for dumbing yourself down. And that's what I don't like. I get the quirkiness, and I get there's always going to be one or two on each franchise that is quirky. But you act so, you willfully act obtuse in everything in your life. I don't understand. It's almost like this lady stopped progressing whenever her father left her. That is what she act like sometimes. And for a woman who has seem like those aunties and that mom are really, really strong women and do not play. Why do you act like this? That's what bothers me about her. Like, I really need this lady to go sit on somebody's couch. Okay? All right. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I just had to say that. She was just, I don't know. So we found out that Rula has a prenup, and so does her lying, cheating, raggedy ass husband. Has a prenup as well. Lord, that scared me. Okay, I thought somebody was at the door. My bad. So Alicia said Billy has her in a trust. She have no idea what a trust is. So Rula explained to her what a trust was. And you can tell even in that moment, she didn't want to know. All she wants is to be taken care of. I don't understand. You spent all of this season asking your husband, asking Billy or Bill for a percentage in the company. And we'll get down to that as well. But you want some type of financial resource and responsibility, but you don't want the knowledge of it. You just want the money flowing through you and flowing through your hands. You just don't want the knowledge of it. And I just think that that's dumb. Anyway, we get down to Kelsey. I feel like Kelsey is an insecure broke hoe. And she was telling Rosie, oh, you act like you said that I ain't never had a house or something like that. And I'm like, but Rosie never said, oh no, she said, Rosie, you make it seem like I can't afford a house. When did Rosie ever made it seem like you couldn't afford a house? You kept saying Rosie was putting 20 on 10 about the size of her home. Rosie has never said anything about you. The only thing she said about you that we all can admit to is that your man is in a polygamous relationship. We can all attest to that because we all got on to Rosie and was like, girl, you messy. But then when somebody call you out, you want to cry. That's all I'm saying. So we found out that Joe Ellen and Kelsey looked up the mortgage and said that Rosie took out 2 mortgages. She was like, yeah, I took out 2 mortgages because we're doing, we're fixing up our home. So Andy was like, well, how did you know? How did y'all know about that? And Rosie was like, it was Gary's, Joe Ellen's husband, Jerry, or whatever his name is, that pulled it up for them. And I just think that's bullshit. Like, Joe Ellen and Kelsey definitely came with an agenda. I will say this, Rula came to just go at Joe Ellen. But ma'am, I'm going to keep saying this, if you would not have called out and you wouldn't have took PTO, you should have been at your scenes. And you should have told her what you told her. And those times you were in Joe Ellen's face, I said you should have backed that hoe up off of you. But you did not. Okay? Joe Ellen is acting like a POS. Okay? Because you sitting here taking up for Kelsey. And you guys have always done that. You, Liz, and Kelsey, y'all made a pact to take up for each other. But now Liz is out of that pact because she don't really with Joe Ellen like that no more. Okay? We talk more about Kelsey. Kelsey puts off her brain surgery to do a pageant, and we found out that somebody said that she was some type of an escort. I don't trust that hoe who wants to be kept. So I think she was. All right. Kelsey's ex didn't want to be on the show. It's also obvious that Kelsey did not learn her lesson, because you now live with Billy. Last time we saw you, we thought you were living alone. You moved out of, because it was Kelsey who kept saying, I have to be independent. So after you realized your ex, you already knew this man didn't want kids, your ex. So you wanted to be in a position where you wanted to be married and you wanted to have kids. But you also wanted to be independent. That was the whole point of moving out of this man's home, for you to be independent. You moved into your own space. And then now you're with Billy. Girl, at this point, Kelsey, you can definitely go directly to hell and take that dry rub ass coochie with you, because no ma'am, it's very clear that a lot of y'all just want to be kept. And again, I'm not saying anything is wrong with it, but y'all don't want to have your own. That's the problem. This is why I like Rula, Joellen, because Joellen did have a job. Liz, she is doing the gummy business. Like, she's in partnership with her husband. Ashley, she's taking more reign, like what they call it, social media stuff, like brand deals and stuff like that. What's her name? Rosie was a news anchor, and now what does Rosie do now? She has her blog, her own blogging situation or whatever. So I'm not mad at that, but y'all just want, you, Kelsey and Alicia, y'all just want to be kept. Like, it just gives me that scene on what is it, on Living Single, when, what's her name? Y'all, I be spacing all the time. When Regine was like, what's wrong with being carried? Khadijah said, she was like, well, what's wrong with being carried by a man? And Khadijah said, well, they just seem to drop your ass. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, you cannot predict what a person is going to do. Yes, they are taking care of you, they are doing all these things for you, but what are you doing for yourself? And I think that's all I want to see from Kelsey, and that's what I want to see from Alicia. And I'm glad you're even getting a cracker deal, and I'm glad y'all getting y'all housewife money, but like, have your own place. Now, I think the situation with Alicia and her husband is a little different. But when it comes to Kelsey, girl, why would you move in with him? You have been tied down. You said yourself, you've been with your parents. You went from your parents' house to this man's house, and you have been with this man for 10 straight years. And to move from this man's house to your own place, and then immediately after that, because it wasn't long, it was probably about a year or something, you moved in with Bill. That's crazy. That is crazy. Anyway, we get down to Rula. Andy asked Rula how her and that nasty ass nigga, how they're doing. She said that they're good. I call cap. Anyway, they thought she was sick because of Brian. So did I. I felt like Brian was making Rula sick. I also feel like her staying home was her not wanting to be around the women and wanting to answer any questions as it relates to Brian and all of his cheatation. That's how I felt. And if it's happening, you're on a show, so guess what? You're gonna have to talk about this. And I also think Rula was embarrassed because you decided to stay with him, and people are now asking questions. So we talk about the school teacher that Brian was once married to. They wanted to know if Rula had an affair with Brian while he was married to the Spanish teacher. She said no. So Joellen pipes up, and I'm looking at Joellen like, girl, you said enough, you done enough, you proven enough. At this point, you just need to mind your Caucasian own business. Okay? I'm looking at Rula like, girl, you don't back this hoe and her husband up off of you, but this was before the husbands came out. And I really believe Rula knows that her husband is alive, but she gonna keep acting real delusional. Anyway, the men come out. Jerry said that he did not sleep with Jen while he was, at any time. He's never slept with Jen. And I was like, okay, Jerry. Okay. Y'all didn't sleep together? Oh, okay. Something happened. Anyway, Andy asked, would he give her his sperm? Give Jen his sperm? And he said, no, absolutely not. But the way Joellen's sister talks to you, that is too comfortable. And why does Joellen's sister have to come take care of you while Joellen was out of town working? Again, I think something happened, but that's just my personal opinion. So all of the men, they are really good friends. And Bill and Kelsey, we get down to Bill and Kelsey. And they asked Bill and Kelsey, was they sleeping together, I guess, while she was in a relationship with old boy. And she was like, no, I feel like she was lying. I think she had been sleeping with him, because you're not gonna be faithful in this moment you're not gonna be faithful over here with this man, and you know that he's over here being unfaithful to you. Girl, that's crazy to me. But whatever. I think that they slept together the entire time while he was out doing him. I feel like Kelsey was out doing her. Anyway, we found out that Bill did not amend the prenup. And again, Alicia displaying a level of stupidity. Like, you don't see this, but whatever. Anyway, we found out that the woman who's handling, I guess, those housewife checks that's coming in from Alicia, it is Sarah. She's the office manager for Bill, and she's a bookkeeper. And Billy said he's giving Alicia 50% of 50% of the shares of the company that she had been asking for the entire season. And after he gave it to her, she got on this stage and said, what is this? I don't know if she said, what is this? But she acted like she didn't want it. She was like, I feel bad for asking. Like, after all of that, after all of this complaining to the girls and all of this, the man finally give you 50 cents of the pizza company, and you act like you don't want it. I don't understand. This is where the stupidity continues. I like her, but this is where the stupidity continues. Again, you are acting, it's really giving Arrested Development. You have, for whatever reason, wherever your dad left, that's where you are in life. You just don't seem to ask no questions when it comes to Bill. And even when everybody was telling you the way you answered those questions, like a typical, you're not going to follow up with that. You're not going to follow up. You're just going to let Bill do whatever. And then baby Prozac, Ashley, she going to say, oh, I don't think Bill would do. Ashley, shut up. Shut up. Anyway, Joellen start piping up again about Brian. Don't need to, she started piping up again because they started talking about Rula and Brian. And I'm looking at Joellen like, Joellen, at this point, you might as well just be. You keep trying to prove that you're not a liar. We already know that. What you are is grimy. And what you have been doing, you and your husband, you've been hanging around. If Rula has been your friend, You've been hanging around the other person getting all of this information, and I do still feel like you got it for the show's sake. So you can have a storyline. Rula has been your storyline this entire season. Because you've had access to the to the woman that her husband was sleeping with. And that makes you grimy. You are the villain and everybody like you. I absolutely do not. And I see what Liz is saying about you. And the way Liz was looking at her throughout, and even it was just so many looks, so many faces. It was a lot of, throughout this entire segment. Anyway, it is very convenient that Joellen and her husband actually knows the mistress. Very, very convenient. Anyway, Brian and Rula stories are not there. The time they got married, the time Brian was divorced or whatever, their stories are not matching. Apparently, Rula said he divorced in 2010. Brian said he divorced in 2012. Y'all lying. Joellen is reveling in all of this, and she was like, you made it seem like, again, you were trying to be there for for Rula. I don't think so. I think at some point you were, but then it became something else. And again, I have to side eye you because you have all of this access to the side person. I have a problem with that. And then you kept going to her as if you were trying to be her friend and you were trying to help her. Girl, you wasn't trying to help nobody, but you were self-serving. And you was trying to serve your own personal purpose. And that was to make money, and that was to make a splash on this show. Anyway, Brian is a liar. He's lying about not wanting to talk about the dismissed case that he actually can talk about. He was like, oh, it is dismissed, so I can't talk about it. By talking about not putting, he put a tracker on Rula's car. And he was like, well, I can't talk about that because it's dismissed. And I'm like, this man lied about everything. And so the men leave. The ladies said their last words. And this is where the season ended. And this was a good season. I told y'all I enjoyed it. Everybody was friends. So they're, it was organic. Apparently, allegedly, Liz won't be returning next season because of some illegal issues. I don't know. That's alleged. Other than that, I think everybody else is returning next season. Yeah, so let me know what y'all thought about the season. Let me know what y'all thought about this part 2 reunion. That is all I got. This is your girl, Kiwan. Reminding you to keep showing up, keep growing, stay true to yourself, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.